again, everyone. This is Koraki, aka Damien Knight. Today's Vlogmas is talking about conlangs. Once more, before I get into what a conlang is, I will give a bit of background about myself. I have been writing since I was 8 years old, like most school children who learn to write. At 10 years old, I started writing fan fiction. In fact, my first fan fiction was about Jumanji. I was an avid reader of just about everything I could get my hands on. I didn't discover fantasy until I was about 13 years old. The door opening was my son. Anyway, this was when I stumbled upon the Elfstones of Shannara. And I'm going to move my mic closer because my last video, I was not very loud. So we're going to make sure I'm louder. Okay, and I shall continue. In Terry Book's original novels, I don't actually remember a conlang in it, but the TV show in 2016 featured the Druid language of Noaloth. This language was created by linguist David J. Peterson. The next fantasy I came across featured a conlang, and that was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by the turf who shall not be named. That conlang was Parseltongue. Also, forewarning, because I realize this now, I do not mention Tolkien's conlangs at all. And that is because during my initial development, Tolkien did not influence anything in my life. Like his languages, I did not even register that those were conlangs until later. More recently, actually. And he was also a linguist, by the way. So let's continue. So that conlang, of course, was Parseltongue. For me, though, it was the Inheritance series. And there we go. That's what influenced my interest in conlangs. And it's conlang, known only as the Ancient Language, that made me wish to create a conlang and write a fantasy novel myself. I was 18 years old at the time that I pulled out a notebook and hand-wrote an alphabet and dictionary for the world of Lysandra's. Back then, I had no clue. I, too, was creating a conlang. With that long introduction out of the way, what is a conlang anyway? Like my last video on orogenies, I will use the Merriam-Webster definition. A conlang is an invented language intended for human communication that has planned and cohesive phonological, grammatical, and syntactical systems. Basically, a conlang is a constructed language. Do ignore my hand motions. I am not moving my hands. I could already hear you now. But Koraki, aren't all languages constructed? Doesn't this mean English is a conlang? The answer is a resounding no. Both English and conlangs, such as Star Wars Huttese, are actual languages. The difference is English is a natural language. Is somebody behind me? Sorry. Evolved over time by many people, where a conlang is usually artificially developed in a short amount of time. Constructing a conlang takes a lot of work, too. I love etymology and linguistics, but the process has been harrowing for me. Conlangs, like any other language, have grammatical, syntactical, pronunciation, and morphological rules. I'm no linguist. I'm an author and a geologist, sort of. But while I have a special interest in linguistics, I do not have a degree in it. What are conlangs used for? Well, one of the earliest conlangs was used for writing hymns. I say conlangs in quotes here because we do not have enough details of lingua ignota to understand if it had all the things needed to be a conlang. I will get back to this in a moment. In the 19th century, the conlang Esperanto was invented, intending to be an international language of commerce. Fun fact, this is the most widely spoken conlang in the world. And you would have thought it was Klingon. Let's return to lingua ignota, partial languages. While a true conlang differs from a code such as Pig Latin or what we have of lingua ignota, an alphabet, you can still create a feeling of a new language in your writing. How? Easy. Use a naming language. Dothraki from the Game of Thrones started out this way. In my own novels, the Yenmi language is a naming language. Naming languages provides a small sliver of a language. It gives a fictional world a more fleshed out feeling without all the sticky rules. This is one reason most of my languages are naming languages rather than comprehensive languages. A comprehensive language being, of course, a fully constructed conlang. Anyway, that's pretty much the basics of what a conlang is. There are types and subtypes of conlangs, but I'm still learning about those myself. In the meantime, if y'all are interested in learning more about conlangs, a link will be in the description below to all my sources. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Happy writing, y'all. And bye-bye.